Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'll give you an overview of the path the 914 took to get to Spain, and then to the little village where I'm performing the last few tasks, and then we take it through the brutal Spanish technical inspection process. Please feed the YouTube algorithm by giving the video a like. If you want to see more like this, click subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. If you want to chip in on my expenses, I now have Patreon and YouTube memberships. That is not yet complete, so I'll tell you all about it in the next video. In the last video, you saw the 914 being trailered away from EVTV headquarters across the Mississippi and to the east. Here's the rest of that journey. I hired the Schumacher Logistics Company based on reviews I read about how they handle auto transport around the world. They were very professional and requested a buttload of documentation from me, and then they handled all aspects of getting assigned to a ship and all U.S. side paperwork. The car arrived at the Schumacher warehouse in Elizabeth, New Jersey on March 5th. Then we waited to link up with the ship that the car had been assigned to. The first projected sailing date was April 4th, and then it slipped to April 14th, and then it finally got on the ship and pulled away on April 17th. So we just blew a month and a half waiting to get on a ship. You'll see that schedule slippages are the common thread throughout this story. The projected arrival date in Valencia is April 29th. Are we going to make it? Nope. Handling the Spanish receiving side of things is a company called Sparber. Schumacher partnered with them, and I had no say in the matter. Their headquarters is in Madrid, but they have an office here in the port in Barcelona. And I went to their local office, and they gave me the email of a Mr. Oscar in Madrid who's handling my shipment. He was also very professional and requested even more paperwork to handle the Spanish import and customs processing. The ship I was assigned to is the MSC Rochelle, a good-sized cargo ship, and the car is in there somewhere, probably sharing a container with another car. I used a website called vesselfinder.com to track the ship every morning and see the next steps and projected timeline of the journey. I forgot to take screenshots along the trip, so I made these maps and notes instead. On April 19th, the ship arrived in Norfolk, Virginia. After a quick stopover, it headed to Savannah next. Strangely, it sat offshore for 3 days, and I suppose it was waiting for a place to dock and exchange containers. On April 26th, it left Savannah and headed a bit north to Charleston. I wonder why they didn't stop there on the way down. On April 29th, it left Charleston, headed for Tangier, Morocco. On May 5th, it made an unlisted stop in the Azores, a group of islands in the Atlantic, which are an autonomous region of Portugal. The next day, it left the Azores and headed to Tangier, happily arriving on May 7th. Strangely, the next port of call in Valencia was listed as arriving on September 5th, 4 months into the future, and I got a little bit panicked at that point. After a very brief stop, it docked in Valencia on May 9th. At this point, Sparber was working through the unloading and Spanish customs paperwork, and I had to pay for their services, plus the final bill calculated by customs. The car was ready for pickup on May 17th, but the flatbed tow truck guy I contracted with couldn't pick it up until May 27th. And since the car is unregistered, uninsured, and doesn't have Spanish license plates, it's highly illegal to drive it on Spanish roads. So my only option was to put it on a flatbed, which are called a grúa here in Spain, and bring it to a little town called La Zenia, south of Alicante. La Zenia is the location of the car importing company that I hired to handle the details of getting the car legal on Spanish roads, and I'll go into gory detail on that process in the next video. Coordinating with the grúa driver, I took the train from Barcelona to Alicante, also on May 27th, as he was doing the pickup and delivery. What I didn't know is trying to get further south of Alicante is via a bus that stops literally every 1 kilometer along the road. When we got to Tarragona, I couldn't take it anymore. I got out and got a taxi straight to the apartment that I had booked. And what I've come to realize is this little town and the little towns along the coast here are a magnet for families going on holidays in the constant Spanish Mediterranean coastline sunshine. There must be 10,000 holiday apartments just in this one town, with a similar number of property agents. Now, the big glitch in this process was the car repair garage that I was told to deliver the car to had no idea who I was or why my car was being dropped off there. There was a miscommunication between me and the import company, and I wasn't aware that I had to notify the local garage that I was coming. And the owner of the garage really got his nose bent out of shape and held it against me until he just kicked me out of the workshop area while I was in the middle of making the final updates to pass the inspection. And I ended up doing the rest of the work in the sun in the parking lot of my apartment. So, in the end, the car is here, and I'm plunged into the final tasks of getting the car ready to pass the strange rules of the Spanish technical inspection process. Oh, and while the car drives, about 6 things mysteriously stopped working on the trip over. I blame the 51-year-old wiring harnesses, as you've seen me complain in all the previous videos, and there'll be more on that in the next video as I solve them all one by one. Just before we wrap up, I want to thank my Patreons, Peter Bouvier and Puppy, for their support. We also just popped over 2,000 subscribers, which is quite a nice milestone for my little channel. All support is greatly appreciated. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please give it a thumbs up. I see that 81% of the viewers aren't subscribed. Please do, as it does help the YouTube algorithm. Take care and see you next time.